Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kingdom of Avalon. We are in another episode of my Extreme Ultimate Decades Challenge. I want to thank you guys for being here. And if you have yet to subscribe, it would mean so much to me if you would subscribe. If you're subscribed, consider liking, sharing, or even commenting to help the engagement of my channel. It means so much to me. My goal is to reach 500 subscribers by the end of this year, and I'm very close. So thank you, and please consider helping my channel grow. We are now in the 1330s of the Extreme Ultimate Decades Challenge. My Ultimate Decades Challenge is not like everyone else's. When I say extreme, I'm not saying it's more extreme than other people's. I'm just saying we are adding extra rules to make it a little bit more chaotic, and we're playing along with the Sims quirkiness, which has like magic and vampires and mermaids and aliens and all the crazy things. So when I say extreme, it is extreme because we are playing in the chaotic world of The Sims, and we are playing with all those fun features. And if you guys know, I'm a wild storyteller. Crazy things that happen that aren't along the timeline of European history. And I do know this challenge was written by people who love to play historical gameplay, which I love watching. I watch tons and tons of channels who play the Ultimate Decade Challenge, and I really enjoy it. And I love history myself, but I am a big fantasy person. I read so much fantasy. I watch fantasy. I consume so much. And when I play The Sims, it is definitely my happy place. So my creativity comes out that way. So my storytelling is 100% fantasy. My world experiences different medieval rules compared to medieval in Europe. So I hope you guys are fine with that and along for the ride, because this is not your historical gameplay channel. So while I do take inspiration from historical events from the Ultimate Decade Challenge timeline, I adjust them to fit our storytelling. For example, whenever we had the plague, for us, it was a vampire dark magic plague. It wasn't like Black Death, you know? The little adjustments I make are more of the fantasy variety. With that being said, we are entering the 1330s decades, and to just go over events that happen in the 1330s. I hope you all enjoyed my recap videos as well as my family tree video. I am very excited to see what we're going to get into from the years 1331 to 1340 of our fantasy kingdom Avalon. And even though we are a fantasy kingdom and I have different things happening to us, instead of, us following the medieval historically accurate timeline, we took a more fantasy route to it. We still did it during the years that was originally on the Ultimate Decades Challenge, which is why I'm still playing by the rules. I would just say my rules have been adjusted. That doesn't mean I lose the challenge. The challenge is meant to offer you a fun alternative to gameplay. So I am still playing by 90% of the rules of this challenge. I've just added some and adjusted some that suits my game playing, because The Sims is my happy place and I would like to play how best makes me happy. So in the 1330s, from 1337 obviously till 1360, but we start now in the 1330s, we enter in the 100-Year War chapter. So according to this document, in the Middle Ages in England, the first phase of the 100-Year War was between France and England, and it lasted from 1337 to 1360. It is sometimes referred as the Edwardian War because it was initiated by King Edward III of England, who claimed the French throne in defiance to King Philip. So we're not playing England and France, but we are technically already set up to go to war with possibly Moria. We also have the magic realm, and I also set up the question of who is really the heir to our throne. So each of our kingdoms have a different tradition of succession, as is their rights. I took inspiration from Game of Thrones when it came to their War of the Five Kings. I feel like that we're on the precipice of a major war, whether it's with the Kingdom of Moria or a kingdom internal battle to see who is going to be the rightful heir to the throne, because we have so many eligible candidates. Nonetheless, we are set up for war in 1337. So I will just see where the story takes us, and I like to see what flows and what works when it comes to storytelling. I have a general idea and an outline of what I would like to happen, but at the same times, when the Sims get certain prompts, I like to follow that as well and adjust the story accordingly. So yes, we're about to start the war, and in 1337, we will be following these rules. We'll roll a d4 dice for any male in our world from teen to adult. If they go to war, we will move them out for 5 years, and we'll follow that rule. I need to also populate my world because during the vampiric plague and the famine, we lost honestly over half of the Sims in my world. So if you guys would like to contribute townies, please consider hashtagging Haysie Simmer, the same way my channel is spelled, and I will check them out. Also, remember that my gallery ID is TDG_12. You can find that written in my bio of this video. For the 1330s, we will be doing our first war roll a little bit past the halfway mark into our decade. We won't roll again until the 40s, but we'll be rolling 2 to 3 times per decade until the 1360s. So from there, that is what we are prepping, is the Great War. Here is the list of my extreme add-ons. I currently have 10. On even years, we roll a die to see if we find a wild animal, because some of these random acts are positive, other ones are negative. In the third year of each decade, I do a roll to see if someone in our house is kidnapped and held either for ransom or murdered. So we will have that happen in the year 1333. On the winter solstice in the game, we will roll a die to see if we get money or a most needed item. Every arranged marriage for female to male will roll to see if our spouse is cheated on. So I do need to do this for Anne. So she's about to get married as well. So we'll have to see if their spouses cheat on them. The odds from a D20 are a 2, 6, or a 9. After having 4 kids, if we can't afford them, we have to send a kid to be like in another household. So either to go help out the baker or become someone who works at the docks. Basically, you have too many mouths to feed. I was gonna do this for Francis because Francis had 4 kids. And one of them was his stepson, but unfortunately he lost some children. So honestly, by the time they were all kids, some of them died anyways. Every Monday, whatever house I'm in, I'm gonna roll to see if it was robbed. On the summer solstice, we will roll to see if we have been violently attacked. On the autumn and spring equinox, we roll to see if we have a flood or a fire that ruins part of our property. For the fall equinox, when a third-born daughter is and a teenager, she is going to fall in love with a vampire or a werewolf. It's like a whole subplot. I haven't had 3 daughters yet who made it to teenhood, so we're not really enjoying that one yet, but maybe when a third-born daughter becomes a teen, she will be infatuated by an occult member and fall in love with them. We'll roll a d6, and if we get a 3 or a 6, she runs away with them or is taken by them forever. But if we roll something else, she will have like a moment of like love with them. You know, she'll fall for them, but she makes it out alive, but instead becomes interested in magic and becomes a spellcaster with the goal to cure the vampirism or the werewolf. So when we roll that d6, if we get a 1, 2, 4, or 5, she becomes a spellcaster and tries to cure them. But if she rolls a 3 or a 6, she goes and joins them and falls in love with them. It was just a way I was trying to add something cute for the occult in my game. If you guys have any ideas of things I can add, I don't really want to change any of these because I've already been using them so far. But if you have any ideas of anything I can add, I would like to take that up because I'd like my list to be about 20. So that would be something I would like to do. So in the year 1331, I don't have any timeline events. The last day is a Friday, so we will roll for that robbery. We do have Antonia and Paula's age up. Jacob, Joshua, Catriona, and Theodore will become teens. Sol will become a teen, and Frederick will become an adult, hopefully. So we'll get those roles taken care of. So this episode will be more focused on birthdays. I think we're only going to be able to do half an episode right now. Right now, I want to show you guys our current households and their side household families right now. So right now, Frederick with his first wife, had his 2 daughters. They are about to age up to teenagers. Well, Anne is actually a teenager already. She's going to get married. With his second wife, Tiara, they had 4 sons. They have 3 living sons currently. With our first side household of Gen 2, we have Francis. Francis with his first wife had triplets, and they're all alive currently, about to age up to teens as well. His second wife recently also passed away, so right now Francis just has his 3 children. One is away becoming a priest, and his daughter is currently apprenticing and being fostered at his Aunt Tamara's house. Arthur is our second side household for Gen 2. He is married to Princess Lionheart, and they're living out in the country. Right now they have 4 living children, and I do believe, and they will be aging up to children in this episode, hopefully. So that is what we're about to take care of now. I hope that was completely comprehensible for you guys, but we are going to start with our age ups. So I'm going to start with the roles at the screen. And right now it's Isolde's birthday. For Isolde to age up into a teen, she cannot roll a 7. So here's for Isolde Alder. She ages up into a teen, so we'll take care of that. All right, guys, here's Isolde all grown up. Because my Sims eye color changed so much because I had the glitch, I am rolling 50-50 dice on the sideline to see if they ended up with their mom or their dad's eyes. And then that way, when they're a teenager, I'm setting it, locking it in. So Isolde rolled with green eyes. So if she had inconsistent eye color before, just understand that that is definitely a glitch you have commonly when you play with CC. So that's all I can really say about it. She had brown red hair because she has like this red brown. So like, I don't know, I guess it is red hair. I feel like it looks more vibrant in these braids. You know, her mom did have textured hair, and red hair runs in our family, so I'm not really surprised that she's a redhead. I just feel like it's more vibrant. But Isolde is all aged up and ready for marriage. Yes. All right, so our next role is for Joshua, Catriona, and Theodore. Unfortunately, they're all living in separate households, so I'm going to do one at a time. For them to age up into a teen, they cannot get a 7. They are our side households. I do need to do if they get married and how many kids they have as well, but I'll do that at the end to see who makes it. So this is for Theodore to see if he becomes a teen. Ooh. Guys, this is so close to 7. Francis's line is eliminating itself. Like, I mean, obviously Theodore makes it, but that was really close. I can already tell you right now, Theodore has basically Jacob's face except for those big lips. I think those are Halia's lips that Francis got, but since I based Jacob off of my husband, I can see a lot of like this area is his features. And yeah, I mean, he looks crazy now, but let me do skin details. So here is Theodore. He grew up to be creative and good. He's actually, yeah, this is Halia down here, and this is Jacob-ish. Maybe Halia's face, but Jacob right here. So he definitely got his grandparents' genes from his dad. I just feel like Francis doesn't, I don't know. Francis is like the ugly sibling to me, I guess. But I do think Theodore is pretty handsome. I don't want any weird Sims, and I think he's handsome. He's technically actually this tall, but I had to shrink him to put him in the frame. But glad we have a teenager now for our male line. So Gen 3 officially has a male teenager. That's awesome. Here is our second child in the triplets who need to age up, Joshua Alder. Again, the number is 7. So let's roll for Joshua. Awesome. He makes it. This is a double of 7. So Theodore got 6, which is 1 away from 7. Joshua got 14, which is 2 times 7. I know this is crazy, but like if Catriona gets a number 7, I will not be surprised. It just feels like it's about to happen. Okay. Let me age him up. So here is Joshua. He is also tall, but so I shrunk him down. I gave him the monk haircut because he wants to be a priest, and I finally had the opportunity to use the haircut. He has a really strong face and pretty decent genetics. Even though he wants to be a priest, it doesn't mean he can't get married. So we will also be rolling for his marriage. and chance and probability of children as well at the end of the episode. Here is Catriona down here at the bottom of the screen. She is the last of the triplets to get rolled for. Remember, the death number is 7. Okay, good. Catriona makes it. All the triplets make it. Most of the Sims do make it to teenhood, so it's pretty rare when they don't. Here is the absolutely stunning Catriona. I don't think she has a lot of genes from Halia or Jacob, her grandparents. I think she looks a lot like her mother, Abigail. I'm not seeing really much of Frances at all. And remember, she does work for... Oh, I hate when The Sims does that. I remember she is a seamstress or whatever, apprentice. So I'm trying to find like an outfit that she would make for herself. She aged up to be self-absorbed and cheerful. So she's like pleasant, but she is definitely like higher maintenance. So I do feel like she would go out of her way to make herself something a little bit more fancier than the average. So she's working class. Calvin, you know, owns a tavern. So that is like Tamara. She's Tamara's apprentice. Tamara is like a weaver with the loom and all those things. And she's pretty well known. So she became a merchant. And Calvin owns taverns, like 2 taverns. So they are definitely working class. I would say, even though Francis has like a little tiny town on our property, and he's a blacksmith, he's also a merchant as well at this point. So we kind of went from being dirt poor peasants to like farmers to merchants in 3 generations, but they're not well-off merchants. They just have a trade. So I do feel like she would invest in something a little bit more elaborate, but nothing too elaborate. But she wants to make dresses for ladies one day. So I feel like she would, like, if she's going to make a dress like these, I feel like she would wear dresses like this. Does that make sense? Like the simpler version. So I may put her in, I don't know. I mean, obviously not purple. Just like looking around at things I haven't used, but I feel like this is a little too simple for her. So I will just focus on that for a minute. This might be it. All right. I feel like this is a happy middle for a dress that she would make herself. Like, she's showing that she's got some basic skills going on. She would eventually like to make dresses for ladies one day, but this is where she's at skill wise. Feels pretty accurate to me. Well, for the story I'm telling, obviously not historically accurate. All right, so we're in the Alder Hart household, our second side household for Gen 2, with Arthur being the lead of that. So for Antonia and Paula, who were originally triplets, to age up, they cannot get a 9 or a 19. So this is for Antonia. Okay, Antonia ages up, and I'll go ahead and roll for Paula. Paula also ages up. Awesome. This is Paulina aged up. I'm not doing skin details because they're technically out into the country and we cannot see them. And this is Antonia. She keeps losing her eyes, but her eyes are blue, and we will see them again at their teenage up. I genuinely cannot believe we are already here, but Frederick is doing his adult age up. So for the adult age up, it is a little bit more complex than just rolling the die one time. Anything less than 9, they do not survive. And once, if he gets something above 9, he gets 10 years, plus we roll a d10 for the amount of years left. So 10 years plus whatever's left. I had to have someone explain that to me last time because I didn't do it right with Jacob. And I thought we only had like 4 or 5 years with him, but we actually had 13. So I'm going with that method, and I'm not changing it again. As you guys know, I say at the beginning of every decade, I say what rules we change and what we add. And I'm not changing any rules this decade or adding any rules, but I am saying if I've done something a certain way already, I'm just going to continue doing it that way. So for Frederick Alder to survive, he cannot get anything below a 9. I mean, I think it technically means 9 and below, but we'll see. Freak. Okay, Frederick dies. That sucks. So he does not survive his age up. I think it's great he had his 3 sons, and hopefully at least one of them will make it. If not, we lose our main household line after Gen 1. I am not playing right away, so we will take care of his death most likely in the next episode, because right now I'm just doing the roles. So I am doing a marriage and baby role for a soul. Marriage, and I know this is boring, but when we have teenage ups and we're in a new decade, we do have to spend like an episode doing that. So hopefully you guys are okay with this. When she's a teen, we roll a d20 to see if she gets married, and then we roll a d12 to see her number of pregnancies. So this is not her role. I'm just going to put the dice on the board. So we need a d20 and a d12. That does not count as her role. And if she gets 1 through 3, she never gets married. And if she gets 4 and above, she gets married. And the d12, 2 to 12 is the number of pregnancy tries and number of children. This chart is not up to date, so please don't pay attention to this for everyone. I do think I have to go back and try more with them, so I'll still have to go back and do that. Elijah has been 3 for 3, so he is done. Alexander has 2 out of 3. Ashton's changed to 0 because we made it where he no longer can have children. Originally, I think he had like 11 tries. All right, I feel like this is up to date. So now we're going to add a soul. Oh, I need to add Anne as well. Anne is older. All right, so we had a lot of teens this episode. So this is going to be for a soul because I currently see a soul. So the D20, I'm sorry, the D... So she doesn't get married. A soul doesn't get married. Okay, well, that doesn't matter. So we will... So I do make exceptions sometimes for certain characters based on my need. And Anne technically already has like a proposal, but she's not married yet. So we could make it where she doesn't go through with the marriage if her role doesn't show that. So we will have to see what happens for Anne. Let's see if she gets married. This is, again, if she gets married. Here, I wanted the dice to be on this side. Okay. So that doesn't count. This is if she gets married and how many kids she can try for. Any number above, so 4 and above, she gets married. Okay, so she does get married and she can try for 14 children. Oh, well, she's definitely going to have at least 1. That's for certain. And she's marrying James. All right, we're going to do Joshua to see if he gets married. Joshua gets married and he gets 18 tries. That is, wait, I did that backwards. I'm realizing I did her numbers backwards. She doesn't get 14 tries for children. I have to go back and look at the footage. I'll adjust that, but I do think she gets married because both numbers were above 4. Joshua gets married and he gets 10 tries for children. I love that I confused myself for that. This is only my second time rolling for our teens to see if they get married or not. Our second generation I'm doing it for, so it's definitely like extra work. All right, I'm gonna reset the dice because I had them in the wrong order. A D20 is for marriage and a D12 is for pregnancy. This is not his role. This is his role. He does get married and he gets 9 tries for child. Last but not least, let's see if Catriona gets married and gets to try for a child. Her eye color changed. Her eye color is blue. And I lost all her skin details. Like, how does this happen to me? Like, what is causing this glitch? All right, that's good enough. I'm so annoyed that my Sims are losing their skin details because I don't know what's causing it. Marriage, children. Oh my goodness. Catriona does not get married, but Catriona does not get married. That's crazy because she definitely has high taste and I was thinking she was going to get married, but the role says otherwise. So I'm just going to quickly black her out on the chart so I know that she doesn't get married. These are blacked out because they were going to get married, but they died. And then Ashton, we changed his roles due to his magical situation. This is going to be the end of this episode. The next episode, we will act everything out and Frederick will die. And we will also have our wedding for Anne. Not really sure the order it's going to happen, but it's going to happen in the year 1331. And I look forward to seeing you guys in that episode. Thank you so much for watching.